CEO, and I am so honored that you are joining us today. If you are in the Phoenix area, you know we typically meet, or you may know, we typically meet 3 times a month in person. We will eventually bring back the face-to-face meetings, but at this time, we're not quite there yet. So we're doing all of these virtually every single month. And so we are just make sure you're dropping your name in there. The other thing we'd love for you guys to do, John, thank you in the chat for showing us what this looks like. If you could go get your LinkedIn URL and what you need to do is just go to your computer and pull up your LinkedIn profile. And then when you click onto your profile, in the top of the menu, the browser bar will pop up your LinkedIn profile. So you can copy that and paste it and put it right down here for us to be able to view. All right, let's see, a couple more things I want to talk through this morning. Let's see, you are also able to private message people. And so if you, on the chat, take a look down at the chat on the bottom, pull that chat box up, and then you can see there's a little to somebody, and you can send it to everyone in the meeting, or you can just private message to somebody. Feel free to do that. Our recruiter, we have a couple hiring managers and recruiters on today. You are welcome to do that with them. When our speakers are speaking though, they will not be moderating the chat. So we will make sure to take questions and roll them up and spend some time asking questions for them today. Let's see. I also wanted to make an announcement that I know we have people calling in from all over. We are based in Arizona. And so if you are interested or trying to get your unemployment, big checks were hit this week for Arizona specifically. And if you have not gotten your check and you're applying for unemployment, keep following the process. There's a couple really, really good Facebook groups out there. So if you are trying to get some answers and you can't get through to DES or even outside of Arizona and you can't figure that out, look on Facebook. There's some really good Facebook groups that are answering a ton of those questions. So just a couple tips I wanted to give you there. And let's see, if you're not on video right now, we would love to see your beautiful face. And so we can see you, if you can just scroll down on your gallery, your picture bar, we can see a whole bunch of faces, everyone that's joining us today. Oh, Rob, I love when you join us and you have those beautiful pictures in the background. Go ahead and put your video on. We would love to engage with you that way. If you're not quite comfortable, that's okay too, but it's a great way for us to be able to network. All right, I think, Sheila, I'm going to turn it over to you for just a minute.
Perfect. Hi. So I think Jessica already went over some of the logistics, but I just wanted to mention if you are still having any problem with your sound, you can go ahead and text our Career Connectors line at 480-442-5806 if your system settings aren't cooperating, and Diane can help you there. Please do keep talking in the chat. I feel like this community has been so amazing, and I know when you come to our in-person events you are able to meet people, and the chat box here is kind of how we connect. So let's keep that conversation going. And in your display settings there you have options on your end. You can control how the videos are displayed, and I just want to tell you that our keynote speaker this morning is going to do some amazing things. We're going to be flipping back and forth between slides and the speaker. So if you could look at your video view options, on top of where you see the videos, you can choose either speaker view or gallery view. And I want to encourage you to have speaker view. It's a little confusing because when you select speaker view, then what is displayed is gallery view. So it's kind of backwards. So anyway, when Gloria is speaking, if you don't see her in the big part of the box, go ahead and click that option so that you can really engage with her that way. And I want to just add, Gloria is going to give you some really amazing specific tips for how to make this kind of a conversation, especially if it's an interview, work well. And my suggestion is don't let your interview be the first time you do it. So whatever platform you end up on for an interview, whether it's Zoom or WebEx, Google Hangout, whatever it is, make sure that you've already used that platform with the setup that you're going to use in the actual interview or conversation. Go ahead and practice with a friend. This is a great time to do things like that. I think people have time and they're at home in front of their computers. So that's my advice. Just don't let the interview be the first time you do it, and keep chatting while you're here.
Thank you, Sheila. Sheila's the brilliance behind making all this happen. So I don't know what we'd do without her. So great. You guys are super engaging on the chat. Keep going. Thank you. Good morning, Mark, Virginia, Diane, Catherine, Gail, Kitty. Thank you so much. There's so many of you starting to chat. And again, feel free to ask questions, ask for clarification, whatever you'd like in the chat this morning. And when Gloria has break times or at the end, we will make sure to ask her those questions. Also, feel free to talk our hiring managers, recruitment team. They're on the line. Feel free to engage with them and ask questions. All right, so it is a perfect day for all of you to be here because of the topic we are dealing with. I was talking to the economic development director for the city of Phoenix on Friday. We did an interview. And so if you're interested in reviewing that interview, it's about 20 minutes long. We have it posted on our website, but she was telling me that there are over 120,000 jobs right now in our area, in the Phoenix area. Obviously many more nationally, but there are companies hiring, and many of them, and I'm not gonna say most because I don't know if that's 100% true, but many of them are utilizing Zoom calls, some type of video interviewing. And so this is such an important topic, and I'm so glad Gloria is here to talk to us today. So you'll hear from Gloria Peterson for Master the Video Interview. And then we're gonna have Kent Norris from Hacienda Healthcare. Jamie Fox is here today from Charles Schwab, and Stacy Peterson from TGen. So I am going to introduce Gloria and have her come to the stage, the virtual stage. Gloria Peterson's dynamic presentations have inspired audiences for over 3 decades to handle professional and social situations with class and finesse. Gloria is a graduate of the Protocol School of Washington and other certifications, including the Professional Image Institute, Dale Carnegie, and the Leadership Institute. She is a renowned certified protocol professional and author of The Art of Professional Connections. It's a four guidebook series with companion subject matter expert training modules. And her clients range from Fortune 100 companies to emerging entrepreneurs. She's been such a great advocate of Career Connectors, and she's given us so much information over the years that around image. And we thought, we're going to throw down the challenge, Gloria, and say, what do you got for us in the virtual world? And she is going to be with us today. You can learn more about her at gloriapeterson.com, and that's Peterson with an E-N. So Gloria, thank you for being with us today.
Thank you for inviting me back. This is such a pleasure. Certainly you said the word challenges, and I'm definitely on my challenges. So I'm trying to get to my live part here. There we go. Okay, when this appears, then I kind of go live for you. Again, thank you, Jessica. And hello, virtuals. Yes, this is a challenge. I'm trying some new things with this webinar. I hope you find them useful and beneficial as much as possible. But my first question to you this morning is, do you cringe at the image of yourself on the computer screen? Well, from a speaker point of view, I had no idea I was going to be so close up to me, because I don't see me. You see me when I'm in front of an audience. But now with this virtual technique, I see me, and it's like, oh, did I get that mascara? You know, you start to really pick yourself apart, but please don't do that. Also, are you worried about your room setup? Are you worried about facial flaws? Are you worried about dialogue dysfunction? I'm going to try very hard to answer all of those questions by giving you some visuals, but also sometimes we're going to come back to me and I'm going to demonstrate what it is I'm trying to say, because I don't think a slide can tell the whole story. So if you feel reluctant or uncomfortable with this type of interview process because you're a newbie, the following tips should help you. And please realize that virtual interviews have been going on for a very long time, especially for people who are interviewing for positions abroad or someplace where they are not able to travel there. So it's not a new thing. It's just a new thing for the majority now. So let's see how we go, and we're going to begin. And I'm going to go into the first slide, and we're going to go away from me and go into the next slide. So when Sheila is ready, we'll have the first slide ready. Okay, I guess that's my doing. See, I'm getting used to it. Okay, we're going to take this in 3 stages. Before the interview staging, because your interview behind the scenes sets the stage for your interview when you're up front. But we want that interview to be distraction-free by creating a distraction-free image. And obviously, the last thing we're going to talk about is practice makes perfect. So when we talk about interview staging, we're talking about lighting, camera angle, background, and overall logistics. When we talk about a distraction-free virtual image, we're talking about posture, gestures, voice control, facial preparedness, and wardrobe selection. Then, bottom line is practice makes perfect. Don't just jump into that first interview without having practiced. And I'm going to give you some ideas on different ways that you can practice and get used to this whole process if you're not the pro behind the scene. And for those of you who are very, very seasoned in this, I would challenge myself in trying to find that one thing that you didn't know. So we'll see if we can find that. These factors build the foundation that is a key for you to achieve a successful virtual interview. If things go wrong, and they will, it's how you handle the misstep that sells you best. Please keep that in mind. Know how to rebound and get back on track. That does say a lot about your character. The level of technologies and props that you will need will depend on the type of position, the level of pay that you aspire to attain. So there's a lot of very expensive equipment that you can invest in, but please be sure that that investment is warranted in your particular case. Now we'll go on and talk about this section's, again, the lighting, the camera angle, the background, overall logistics. Don't just fire up your computer. Download the technology needed and start your practice. I'm going to recommend, if you don't have it already, which you probably do because you're on this, that you have Zoom and Skype. There have been times when I've been asked to speak or have a podcast and they want Skype or they want Zoom. And there are some others out there too that I'm not as familiar with. Certainly Microsoft Teams is another one. You might have to get used to all of them because when you're being interviewed, they're going to tell you which of the technologies they're going to be working with. These are important considerations, whether it's a one-on-one or whether or not you are going to be in a group situation. Be prepared before the interview. Be sure to send your resume. You know that, but still send it. And you might want to send an email the day before your interview to be sure it was received and it was downloaded. Sometimes I send things by email, they get caught up in cyberspace and they don't land. And it always amazes me because my sent box said it went, but the interviewer was saying did not receive. So you really have to do follow up on that. You also want to have a copy of your resume in front of you side by side. So if the interviewer wants to reference something that you wrote, you've got it right there. So be very, very prepared. And also send a professional photo, because if for some reason your video does not work, you can put up your professional photo, which you saw of me when I go into the live portion of this. And they have an image, at least they have an image to communicate with because they hear your voice behind the scenes. Now, the first one is a one-on-one interview, and that's pretty straightforward. The one that might be a little bit more challenging for you would be the group interview. Now, this group interview might consist of other people they're interviewing, and maybe this position requires a lot of very strong interpersonal skills. And if that's the case, they're going to want to see how you interact with everybody else on the screen. That's how a group interview works. Or it could be a situation where there are several different people making decisions in the company. So it might be the company people that are up there on the grid. But you have to pay attention to a lot of different things when you're doing a group interview because you're competing. Whomever is, please realize that if your microphone is on and you make a noise, your little square is going to be highlighted. The smallest noise, even just a little rustling of paper, it will be either highlighted or it will appear totally on the screen. Depends upon which technology is being used and how it's been set up. So try not to make any noise. Make use of your mute button when you're not engaged. Mute. When you're ready to be engaged, unmute. You're really going to have to be friends with that mute button and go back and forth and remember when you've turned it off and when you've turned it on. The next part we want to look at is the amount of headroom. I came up with this grid. I found it on the internet, and I contacted the woman who wrote this piece, who did these photos, and she's in Canada. Her name is Cindy Burgess, and she gave me permission, as you can see at the bottom of the slide, to use her slides, because why reinvent the wheel when she's already done it? So this is great. But imagine a tic-tac-toe grid. If you want to get yourself perfectly positioned on the screen, and in a minute I'll show you what it looks like when you're too far away, when you're up close, you're too close. The secret again is to get the right amount of profile image in a tic-tac-toe grid, and I'm going to try very hard when I'm live again to show you how I did that. Instead of placing your head in the center square, position your eyes along that top line, and then you should see a little shoulder, and that's what I tried very hard to do with this one. Make sure you can see your shoulders in the shot. Let's look at the next one. Now, this is what we look like when we're too far. The middle one shows when we're just right. And boy, if you're too close, and I was on a video chat last night, an association meeting, and one of the board members was like the third one. And I was like, ooh, whoa, you know, it's almost too much. Plus, when you're that close, you're going to be picking apart your face, or for men, you might say, oh, I should shave a little closer. For women, you might say, fall. That's too close. But when you work with the grid, it's going to help you get that nice balance, what you see in the middle. You also want to make sure there's not a lot of distance between you and your background. And I will be showing you a screenshot of a background that you can use, because you don't want to look like you're in a tunnel. So it's hard to get that. And I know some of you might be in small apartments and you don't really know how you can accomplish this if you have a messy background. We're going to talk about that too. But you want the background as close to you as you can get. So what I'm saying is there's a lot of staging. There's a lot of staging to get this right, to make sure the background's good. And here's how you can do your test run. I don't have a screenshot of what I'm going to describe, so listen very carefully. When you go to your Zoom page, go to Meeting and begin a practice session. How do you do that? In the upper right-hand corner, you'll see Host a Meeting with the drop box. There will be 3 options. Select the one that says with video. Then open the link that prompts you next. Click on full screen. You will see you. This is practice. Nobody else can see what's going on here. In the lower left corner, you will find your navigation bar. Note the mute, which Jessica has already and Sheila have already shown you. And note the video status. This is where you control the voice and the video. If for some reason you have to leave your laptop, disengage the video and you'll see your professional photo will appear. And then remember to click on the video again to bring yourself back. So that's how you can practice, and certainly that is how I practiced for this. I went in there, and again, you can download free versions. Don't get caught up in the paid versions unless you're going to be doing a lot of big stuff. A lot of free versions out there, and it allows you to do a little bit of practice, which is very, very valuable. Okay, that being said, we'll go into the next part, which I'm not finding it. Okay, here we go. Now we're talking about your webcam. Now, if you have a desktop computer, this is not going to be as much of an issue. But if you're working with a laptop or a tablet, it probably will. If low camera angles are not flattering, they make your face look distorted. You want to avoid looking down into the computer. And for those of us who are more in our senior years, guess what? It shows a lot more neck stuff when you do that, and which you don't want to do. You kind of want to keep the neck stuff kind of straightened out a little bit so it's nice and smooth. Again, to repeat, low camera angles just are not flattering. They make your face look a little distorted. And it's not a problem with desktop computers. It's only a problem mainly with laptops. So there's another part to this that you need to be thinking about, or another possible solution. Whoops, I'm sorry, didn't mean to do that. Went too far. This is a little risky. You can stack a bunch of things and put your laptop or tablet up there. The risk is it could fall off if you go to touch a key or do a chat or something like that. So if you're going to stack to get the eye level that you need whatever you're stacking on to be wider than your laptop so it's steady and sure. Eye contact is so important through this whole process. Consider sitting at a breakfast bar with a stool that can be lowered to achieve that angle. That's what I've done. I'm actually at a counter and I have a hydraulic stool, and I took and went up and down until I got my grid. And then I got myself positioned right where I needed to be so I didn't have to stack books. But stack is an option if you can't. Again, the purpose is to try to get that straight angle. And when you select your chair, make sure it's a chair that you can sit still in. You don't want to be swinging back and forth, wiggling, or making squeaky noises. So make sure it's a very comfortable chair. Another option is you can stand. And I love standing. I much prefer speaking and standing because that's what I'm used to. The problem for me is that I like to walk. I like to move. And my body doesn't know how to stand still. It's not very good at that. It can sit still, but it doesn't stand still real well. So if standing is an option, you still want to maintain that same frame that you have. And again, try not to pace or walk or have that temptation. You want to be professional looking and you want to be in control. Lighting's the next issue. Avoid a bright light behind you. It'll make you look like you're in the witness protection program. It's also a concern if you're outside. Now, I was involved in a, in the National Speakers Association is starting to have these little cocktail hours so we can all kind of come together. So at like 5 o'clock in the afternoon, maybe once a month, we'll do the cocktail hour thing. And I thought, well, I'm going to be cool. I'm going to have mine outside because I have this amazing backyard that looks like a mini park. I'm so proud of it. I put so much time and effort into those plants and the ones that died and replaced them and regrowing. I mean, those of you who've put a lot of time into your backyard landscaping, you know what I mean. Well, I'm proud of it. So I thought, well, I'm going to be cute. I want them to see my backyard. I'm going to really impress. So I took my laptop out there. I sat in the patio and the bright sun, couldn't be any brighter in the back. And I looked at the screen and thought, oh, it's dark. I looked like I was in the witness protection program because I was the darkest one in all the grid. So then I thought, okay, so I went to my stop video. So my picture went up so nobody could see what I was doing. I reversed my positioning and made sure that the light was positioned correctly behind my computer, not behind me. And then it was amazing, the difference, but they couldn't see my yard. They could only see the window to my house, which wasn't my intent. So anyway, those are the things to watch for and to be careful of. So make sure you're not dark. These are other things to test and make your lighting in your room. Another way to do it is position your computer so you're facing a window. The natural light is going to be more flattering to your face. In the second photo, I've got the blinds pulled, and that's to simulate it's dark outside, for example. Now you can bring in lamps. Now with the lamps, you might have to play with them a little bit. You might have to see if this lampshade is giving me the kind of lighting I need. Again, go on that video page so you can see what you're doing. Test yourself out on the Zoom page. Or take the shades off, or you could put the lamp behind the laptop to give you the right kind of lighting that you need. Also be aware of ceiling fans. And I'll show you that later. I'll try to show you what that looks like. But if you have a ceiling fan, you're probably going to have to turn it off because the ceiling fan does this flickering thing. And that's distracting also. So this is all staging. It's all the image to make sure that you present the sharpest, best possible image that you can. Okay. Background is critical. Oh my God. This, I have put my through the mill on this one. You want to create a simple, uncluttered background. The focus should be on you, not your background. So the first picture shows a nice, simple one. The second one shows a couple of different people and how they arrange their backgrounds. One has a bookshelf behind her with some things on it. Another one, there's a file cabinet. There's a picture on the wall. There's a plant. But you're going to be doing some staging. Let me tell you about my staging. You have no idea what I went through to prepare for this today. You see that when you see me live, you'll see a bookcase behind me. That bookcase was loaded with books. So when I did my preview image, I thought, oh my God, that looks so cluttered and so messy. And I was really critical of it. So last night, I'm taking almost everything off the shelves. I'm replacing some things with a vase, which you can probably see if you see me in the corner, a plant. I mean, my goodness, the staging I went through. And of course, there's another wonderful option in Zoom, which we'll talk about next. But I want to share Gayle King with you right now because I think she's a perfect example. This happened to Gayle King. She's a CBS News anchor when she did her first news webinars at home. She kept getting messages that she needed to straighten a photo in her background. Her audience was paying more attention to the crooked photo because she had a lot of family shots in her background that was hanging crooked on her wall than to the news that she was reported. And with only the humorous touch that Gayle can give, she commented about it, and then she showed that photo is finally straight and showed everybody, and the camera went to the photo, it's now straight. So it's a perfect example of how somebody watching you can pay more attention to what's going on in your background. And that's what you don't want. You want to be very careful and make sure that the focus is on you. Try different positioning. And again, make sure that you're not looking like you're in a tunnel. If I were to do this webinar my office is rectangular. I'm sitting in the width part of it. But if I was in the length part of it, where my window is, then it looked like the camera sees all the way back to the door, and it looked like I was in a tunnel presenting this thing. So I had to get rid of that. So I thought, okay, now I've got to do all this repositioning, try to find the right spot to do this so that I have the right background. So you're going to have to really play with this and get used to it. It can be challenging. Now I do have a screenshot for you to look at. Consider wallpaper. Now, Zoom, Skype, they all have different wallpapers. The large screen right here shows you with the background. If you look at the first row, those are the ones that Zoom offers you. The none means you're going to use your own. They might show you a bridge. There might be nature. There might be the sky. And if they're appropriate and work for you, you can use those. The bottom three I pulled from the internet, or I just captured them. So I downloaded one with a bunch of books on it because I wanted to show you an example of messy, confusing, distracting. That's what I wanted to do. Then one very clean and crisp. And as you see, the third one was actually mine with my logo on it. So, you know, if I sat in front of that one, you would actually have my head in front of the logo, but it would introduce me and that would be there. Problem. Didn't know I had, and you might have. Sheila told me she had this problem. Found out that my processor in my laptop will not allow me to use the backdrops. Evidently, a Zoom background is not an option for everyone if your video processor does not support Zoom requirements. It won't work no matter what you do. So that's why I was re-engaging and redoing my bookshelf and everything, because I could not find a nice, crisp, clean back wallpaper to use. Another thing you can do if you're in an apartment or someplace where there's a lot of clutter and you can't avoid it, just find a wall that you can move things away from and have a nice wall there and position yourself with that wall as your background. What I would beware of is color. If the wall is white, don't wear a white blouse or shirt. For obvious reasons, you're going to blend into the wall. So make sure whatever wall that you select to have as your background complements whatever colors that you're wearing. So that's another thing to be thinking about. But go to the screen in your in your settings page to see if you do have this option. It's a beautiful thing if you have the option. I've got an appointment with the Data Doctors. This is where I bought my laptop 3 years ago. I thought I had all the latest and everything on it. It's only 3 years old, so I shouldn't have this problem, but they're going to check it out tomorrow. And they said they should not be having this problem, and find out what's going on. So check those things out. Those are very, very important in preparing. The next thing you want to do is make sure that you avoid distractions. Now, I'm going to talk about these. These are so cute. These are common distractions. You see the first one? I have one of those door handles where it doesn't lock, but it just pulls down. Guess what my cat can do? My cat can unlock the door. She does not like doors shut at all in the house. I can shut the laundry room door and she will open it and peek in and then come back out. She doesn't like closed doors. In the second photo, there she is. That's my laptop and that's my cat Angel. And she got herself into my house. She walked up, she gets behind my laptop. I don't know what it is about my laptop, but she loves it. It's soothing to her. She goes to sleep the whole time. When she wakes up, unfortunately, it's time to stretch. And she'll get on my keys and start walking across it and stretch at the most inopportune time. So if you have a cat, beware. Other people have dogs. I don't have a dog. But they like attention and they don't like to be ignored. So they might just come into the room and decide, I need attention, or they might bark. And you'll have to be very careful there and lock them out. Babies are absolutely adorable. However, the interview is about you. If the interview is about a position in a child care facility, then that's probably going to be okay to have your child there because the interview is about the child. But the interview is for a banking position, probably not a good idea. Also watch your wallpaper selections, which I had mentioned to you before. If you are interviewing for a position, let's say in hospitality, having a wallpaper background of a vacation spot, an ocean scene, a beach is probably good. But if you are interviewing for a position more conservative, maybe in banking, that might not be your best background because it shows like you're more interested in vacation and time off than you are in the interview. So your background needs to really complement what you're doing. Kind of backed up there for a little bit, but watch your distractions. Make sure that you're not going to have these. Let your family know. Lock the door if you can and read moves out. And my house also, if you open a door, ding, ding, ding. Whatever door opens, it makes a ding, ding, ding. It drives me nuts. So I had to have my husband leave and not come back until this is done because he will go outside or he'll want to do something and it will go ding, ding, ding. And we can't disengage it. So watch for any kind of noise that you have in your house, in your home environment. So those things are very, very important. Those are distractions, even outside noises with garbage pickup. Make sure that it's not the time of day when the garbage truck comes around and starts to pick up because that noise will come into the house if you're in a room that will attract that noise. Then headsets are an option. If you don't have good voice control, you might put on the head. Let me rephrase that. If you cannot eliminate outside noises, maybe the headset is your answer because you can block that out and hear everything through it, through your headset or a clip-on. But know how and when to use your mute button on these, the volume control, and know how to use the chat option. When an unplanned noise occurs, again, like a garbage truck or something like that, in the house or outside, or as a possibility, mute your room. Remember to unmute when it's time your time to talk. This is especially important in group settings. Wear a headset as an option to eliminate those outside noises. Headsets or clip-on microphones are also very, very great to use. Now we're going to go into a live part right now because I want to show you the grid. Now I'm going to try to see if this worked. We practiced this with Sheila yesterday, but this is a piece of paper that is the size of my screen, and I did the grid on it. So when I put this to the bottom of my screen on my computer, certainly you can't see that here, and I put it at the bottom and put it totally right in front of it, you can see that line going across my eyes. That's where I'm positioned. And this paper, it is exactly the height of my screen. So that's one way to do it. That's why I wanted to show you how this works. I just folded it in threes and drew lines and practice positioning right here. The other thing, I'm going to walk away for a minute because I want you to show you what a ceiling fan does. So just pardon me for a minute because I have to walk away. I have to turn it on. You see up at the top there what that ceiling fan does? It causes all that flickering and all that motion, even though it might be warm. You don't want that distraction happening either. So it's another one. If you are off-site and your interview is with FaceTime, again, when you're in your car or wherever you are, make sure you can control your outside noises. If you're doing FaceTime interview, see if there's a way to prop your cell phone so you're not kind of moving around with it, holding it like this and creating a lot of movement. You want it as stationary as possible. Again, it's part of all the technology that you're going to have use as an option. Pardon me, I said that a little awkwardly, but that's what I'm trying to say. And then let's see what we have next. We're going to go back to the screen because I wanted to show you those examples and how they work. Okay. I'm trying to get there. Okay, there we go. Now we're going to go into it. Now we did the technology. Technology's done. Certainly is more to it than what I probably shared with you, but people who you know who are very seasoned in the use of their technologies and setting up their virtual image, ask them to offer you some more tips. There are tips all over the place. Watch YouTube videos, anything. I just gave you a few to get you started, and I hope they make sense to you. But the next phase of certainly is you. This is all about you now. Now we're going to be looking at your posture. We're going to be looking at gestures, voice control, facial preparedness, and wardrobe selection. So that's our next on our list here because now we've got our technology in place. You are on stage and you are now on camera. Sit up straight and alert. Confident posture helps you project a stronger tone of voice, keeps you at eye level, and is good for your overall body. You also want to be mindful of gestures, nervous habits, and overplaying the coffee theme. The interviewer is looking for cues. They need to see that you look alert. They need to see that you look interested. And they need to see that you're engaged. In the second photo, with the way he's sitting back, he doesn't look really engaged. He definitely doesn't look alert. And it will actually have an effect on his tone of voice, the way he's collapsed his diaphragm there. The other one, too close, might be a little bit too eager, might be a little bit more nervous. And the third one is like hunchback. It just ruins the whole image if you're going to look like that. So you want to sit up straight like the fourth one. I'm going to go to now is an exercise for you. Okay, what I want you to do, here's an exercise for you. When you get home, I want you to find a friend, a family member, and set up a chair. I want the family member to have their back to you. I don't want them to see you. I want you to sit in the chair. I want you to take those three positions that I just showed you on the screen, and I want you to take on each one. And when you do each one, I want you to introduce your name and the type of position that you're applying for. Now again, the other individual in the room has their back to you. So as you say your name and describe the type of position you're applying for, that person can't see your posture. But when you are done repeating those 4 categories of those 4 postures, then ask, which one did you sound the most alert, the most positive, and the most powerful? Which one? I'm willing to bet when you sat up straight with the body straight up and the diaphragm was working in your favor, I'm willing to bet they're going to pick the one where you're actually sitting up straight. You might number them, say, well, this is position number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, but they don't know what the position is again. But that's a really great test for you to test your own diaphragm and where it is the strongest. Because the interviewer is looking for cues. It was easier to kind of, I think, describe it that way than to try to do the slides. So we'll go back to the slides now. Oh, you're going to love the next one. You're actually going to love this one. When I can get to it. There we go. Aha! You might think you can cheat at home. However, if you need to unexpectedly get up or reach for something, just like you saw me get up and turn on my ceiling fan to give you a demonstration, I bet I'm in a full suit. I'm professional from my head down to my shoes. If you get up and you're like this and your bottom half isn't as professional as your top half, you're never forgotten for the wrong reason. It's dress as if you are going to the office, dress for work, dress for the interview, and how you dress is going to depend upon the type of position you're applying for. And certainly the amount of money you want to make, you know, the more money, the better the better the look, obviously. That's kind of like a no-brainer. But dress for the position you want. Leave nothing to chance. Don't do something like this. How many times have you seen when you're watching the news and maybe a news anchor unexpectedly got up too soon? He's in a suit and his tie and shirt. I know you've all seen this. And he got up too soon and the camera caught him and he had cutoffs on. Or he had jeans on. And you're going, wait a minute. And he got some critique for it too. He got maybe some texting, he got feedback. I've seen that happen to me. I don't see it with women as much as I do it, but I have occasionally I have seen a woman anchor dressed totally great from head to waist maybe, and then get up and she's got jeans on. So just leave nothing to chance. I think my biggest advice to you here, when you dress for this interview, and I say this in seminars a lot, and I know Jessica has heard me say this a lot, is go into your closet and have a conversation with your clothes. I only say that because as you look at your wardrobe, which hanging on hangers makes you feel the most powerful, the most competent, and the most at ease. And that goes for your shoes too. Then look at your wardrobe and say, okay, which of you makes me feel like I want to sit on my legs? I want to slouch in my chair. I just want to be comfy. You need to let your clothes work for you too, because they will dictate to your body how it's going to posture yourself. And it's odd, but it's really, really true. And if you don't believe me, then give it a shot and try and see how different items in your clothes, in your wardrobe, make you feel. You also want to look at your face for women. Some women have a wonderful natural glow without makeup. Others, like me, benefit from some minor enhancements. So even though there are a lot of people say, well, I don't wear makeup, I hate makeup, I just want you to just bear with me a minute here and let me tell you the pros of what some of these products do for you, then you decide. Moisturizer, and I say moisturizer for men and women. You want the skin to look moist. You don't want to look real dried out, especially in this kind of climate. Moisturizer is going to be very important. But when you wear lip color, it actually, you want to wear a subtle one, not a strong one, but it actually makes the white of the teeth look whiter because it creates a contrast between the lip and the teeth. When you wear a blush, it brings out your eyes more. And certainly you can bring out your eyes with shadow, but maybe you don't like to wear shadow, but a blush will actually give you a nice healthy glow, just subtle, and bring more attention to your eyes. You want to look fresh. And mascara adds more expression to your eyes. By expanding on those eyelashes, your eyes become a little bit more expressive. So it is a good thing. And also a hairstyle that is very professional and groomed and looks good on you. You don't, in other words, you don't want to look like you just got out of bed, got in the shower, air dried your hair, and now you're ready for the interview. Look like you put some effort into your face and effort into your hair, and you will look like you put effort into the job. Another thing to think about is accessories. I love talking about accessories because they're a way for you to offer some insight into your personality. But something you might not know about accessories is that a necklace at the base of the neck, like I have here, or like the photo has, actually brings more attention to what you have to say. It actually focuses the attention on your communicator, which is your mouth. The same can be accomplished with earrings, but I would recommend an earring that's stationary. This photo shows one that's dangling. Now, when she moves her head, it's going to move. And that could be a distraction that catches the eye. And you see that a lot on TV, I know, with news anchors and that. And sometimes they just want to take their earring and glue it up to their earlobe because it caught my eye. For men, you probably, sometimes in seminars I'll ask, men, why do you wear a tie? If you wear a tie, if you do wear a tie, why bother? And the answer I typically get is, well, because I'm supposed to. No, men's wardrobing has been very strategic over the years. I could spend a half hour on this, but I won't, okay? But I will tell you that when they're perfectly formed, if you touch your neck right here in the corner, you'll feel a V at the throat area, a little V. It's shaped like the knot. That Windsor knot is shaped that way and fits right there. And it also forces the attention more on what you have to say. Think of a time you were in a boardroom or in a meeting and somebody there who had a tie on decided to loosen their tie. You'll find that the body language in the meeting just went relaxed because the tie relaxed. When the tie straightened back up, we straightened back up. So accessories do a little bit more than add a little touch to an outfit. They add some power to an outfit if you allow it to do it. And always smile. Make sure that you're glad to be on that interview, that you are showing a wonderful smile. Okay, some other things that I want to go that has to be a little bit more live. Examples. If you have candies nearby, and certainly those of you who have been in seminars at hotels or whatever, they have that little dish of candies with a cellophane wrapper. Please don't have any of those around, because you start to get a little restless and you pick up that candy because maybe your mouth is dry or whatever, and you start to open that, crack a little noise. It's very, very distracting. Don't overplay your sips of coffee. Don't constantly go like this with the coffee and then put it back and go like this with the coffee, or sit like this as you're being interviewed with your coffee. Watch that coffee, watch the coffee time. Make sure you reach for it at an appropriate time that you won't disrupt the flow of the interview. So that's another one. And that goes for water bottles too. Don't keep taking off the top, taking a drink and doing that, because do you see how distracting it was to you when I did that? That's what you don't want to do. Another one. If you have a chair like mine that wiggles, I can just go back and forth. It's almost like I'm dancing in my chair. If I get too restless, I might start doing that. I need to make sure I stay stationary and I don't use the chair and cause it to move around. Minimize your gestures. I like using my hands. I'm part Italian. What can I tell you? But my hands are a very important part of my communication. So to do this webinar and not use my hands has not been easy, because I like using them a lot. So minimize it and make sure that when you do bring your hands into play, that they have purpose. You know, like a showing hand has purpose. What you don't want to do, and I've seen this, I was on a webinar a couple of days ago, and it was the grid where all of us were on a grid. There probably were about 20 of us. And when one particular woman was not activated, wasn't talking, she started playing with her hair. Another one just said, oh, this is a good time. Okay, I'm going to reach for my lipstick. And she started doing this. I was like, oh my, I know it's casual. It was strictly, you probably wouldn't do that in an interview, but I'm just showing how distracting these things are and how tempting they are, because you're comfortable, you're at home, and you want to refresh. Be very, very careful. Don't bite your lip. Try not to refresh your lipstick. Don't fix your hair or fuss with your hair. Don't lean on your hands. Be mindful of any gestures you have in your life and try to keep stationary. You don't want to be a robot. Have a little personal, be a little personable, have some personality, but you don't want to be a robot either. Okay, now we'll go on to the next phase. The last phase of this whole process is 2. There we go. Practice, practice, practice. View YouTube videos. Every time I watch one, I catch something new. You want to engage in interactive webinars. If you do not have, again, as I said earlier, if you don't have Skype or Zoom or Microsoft Teams or whatever, get the free version, start practicing. You only need to invest in the subscription if you're going to be using it on a larger scale. YouTube offers unlimited lessons on being prepared for interviews for a variety of industries. I'm not going into all the do's and don'ts of the dialogue between you and the interviewer, just a few things I'm going to point out because there's so much information out there already on that. I want to do the behind the scenes and the live part here. Find what posture works best for you and just keep on learning, Some more things to think about is practice using the features with family and friends. And again, as I said, check Facebook and LinkedIn calendars for webinar opportunities. If you go on Facebook and go to events, you'll see free webinar opportunities. Sometimes you'll see networking opportunities, but anytime you see an opportunity to participate in something free, do it. Even if it has nothing to do with your objective, just to get used to the technology, to have fun with it, and to get comfortable with it. The more you do it, the more comfortable you're going to be. I'm still at my awkward stage. I'm still having some little pieces that I need to fine tune, but the more I do this, the better it's going to get. So you want to take care of those opportunities. Watch for the feeds. Image is everything, from setup to your interview communication. You want to make it count. To just do a real quick recap, create a frame by getting familiar with your screen. Position your body for the head and shoulder shot. Put your eyes on that imaginary line so that you are having great eye contact with your interviewer. Make sure your webcam is eye level. Check your lighting. Simplify your background. Close the door. Remove distractions. Know how to use your mute and video buttons. Dress professionally. Sit up straight. Avoid fidgeting. Be prepared. And finally, you want to send a thank you and you want to do a follow-up. There's still a very necessary part of this whole process. I know we're going to have questions afterwards. We've got a few more minutes for questions that are going to be fed to me. If you want to know more about me, the last slide shows all my activities. I show a lot of websites there, but you know, I've been at this for 30 years. So I've kind of divided things into sections. So thegloriapeterson.com is all about my world as a speaker, not just on etiquette and protocol, but also how to turn obstacles into opportunities. The Academy is me passing the baton and training other people and doing what I've been doing for over 30 years. 4 books I've written to serve as a resource to you, and the Global Business Protocol one, which global spelled wrong, sorry about that. That is my international site. So at this time, we will go back to you and you can ask questions with the time that's remaining.
Thank you, Gloria. Thank you so much. We do have some questions. The chat has been blowing up, so I don't know if I'm going to catch all the questions, but I'm going to start with, first of all, there's some fun chat going around about jazz hands. These are jazz hands. Everyone do jazz hands.
Jazz hands, okay.
That's awesome. Probably not a good video interview tip. Okay, so one of the questions was, you had talked about color a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, somebody was commenting in the chat about their go-to interview outfit for typical interviews, face-to-face interviews. She did a test and it was not as wonderful. Her wonderful interview outfit wasn't as wonderful on the screen. So do you have any tips about, you know, what kind of things people should look for when it comes to color. Is there any differences when it comes to video interviews as compared to maybe a regular interview?
Well, first of all, stay with solid colors as much as possible, or very, very minute patterns, because you don't want that to be a distraction too. I love color. So I have a yellow wall in the background because from color psychology, because I teach color psychology, it ignites the creativity in my brain when I look at yellow. And so I like to have that. So wearing a navy blue with that yellow background actually works out perfectly for me. So I think the color of your suit needs to coincide with whatever your background's going to be. Stay in the neutrals as much as possible. You're more powerful when you're wearing contrast. So wearing a dark color with a light color would be contrast, and that gives you more power. Wearing a dark color with maybe a color, like a bright color, like it could be charcoal, and you're wearing a red or a yellow shell or tie or something like that, that communicates a little bit more pizzazz and takes you up another step, means you're not being so careful, but you're being very conservative. So dark neutrals, solids, and colors that work with your background.
Yeah, that's really good. We've been playing with our video, and we made a background for me. I'm sorry, I keep going out here, but because it's not dropping down right now. But I was going to show you. I have a typical gray wall in my background, and when I wear that with this white blouse or with a white, it looks totally washed out. Yep. And I even had a pretend office background we created that was white, and it made me look way washed out. So we created the blue one. So that's great. Okay. Hair
color too. The background needs to work. Like, you don't want a dark background and your hair disappears into the background.
Yes.
So totally. Hair color is important too.
That's great. So a little bit more on the paper that you were talking about. So this is it an 8.5 by 11?
I took an 8.5 by 11 paper and I held it up to the bottom and top of my screen. Of course, it's not going to fill the whole screen because I have an 18-inch one, but I'm mainly concerned with the up and down part. Okay. So once I did that, you can see me doing that here. I laid it on the screen, make sure I cut it to the height and length of my screen, not width. I didn't worry about width so much. And then I just folded it in three like this. And then I folded it in three the other way too. And then I took a marker and did the grids. And then I put it up here and I held it up to the full size of the screen. And I just made sure that this line here was going across my eyes.
Oh, okay.
And when I held it up to the screen, and this video example, I can't show you that because I'm a little bit more limited. But when you go on Zoom in their practice session, when you do your video or your meeting, your practice meeting, you'll be able to do that. You'll be able to see what you're doing. You'll be able to hold it up. And again, it's hard to get the width of the screen. I'm more concerned with being in the center. So I did at the top, the bottom, and centered it. And then I put it up, and then I laid it up there, and I made sure that line was going across my eyes. Make sense?
Yes, that makes a lot of sense. I was here doing it with you. So regular 8.5 by 11, folded in threes, and then folded in thirds again. That's how you get that size.
Just make sure the top and bottom is exactly the paper.
Awesome. Okay, so another question we have for you. So is it okay if you're in a video interview, how do you respond if for some reason you can't do interview or video interview and you need to do it over the phone? How do you say that to the employer?
That's not a problem actually, because a lot of people don't have the camera on their computer. And if it is required, you probably have to buy a camera accessory to your laptop or computer to be able to have that functionality. But have a photo that is up there, like right now you see a screen with my photo. I don't know, Sheila, if you can go to me live like we did before at this particular point, right here, okay. But if I can't participate, I at least want a photo of me up there so that they hear my voice and they understand that. So that's a given. That thing, sometimes videos malfunction. But what's critical is your volume, your voice.
That's such a good tip. And then one more that I have right now. So some of us have different sceneries. Some people use like a ocean background or kind of a scenery background. Is that appropriate for an interview?
Keep it simple so it doesn't distract from who you are in your message. Like I said, the background that you see here, that bookshelf, it was loaded with books. I mean, every shelf had books on it and binders. But when I looked at it, I thought, oh my goodness, they're going to be looking more at that mess. I mean, it looked very congested and cluttered. So I actually had to restage just for this because it's important. This program was important to me. The interview is very important to you, you know, so you want to make sure you stage appropriately and just minimize your background. If you do use wallpaper, keep it simple, not real colorful, just something that really makes you the spotlight.
Absolutely.
Don't let your background be your spotlight.
Actually, I have one more question. Any tips for people that wear glasses? Because, you know, sometimes there could be a glare, but do you have any ideas, any thoughts on that?
Yeah, you might have to work with your lighting a little bit on that. You might have to have a white wall behind you or a white something behind you, Andy, so that the light can bounce off it. But I know you can get a glare from your glasses, and it's hard to go into all the details of glassware right now. But just practice. I mean, I have a set of glasses right here, and it's probably not going to be affected too much. Yeah, see the glare?
Yeah.
Okay, then with that, I'm going to have to check my lighting and my room background and try to find a way that I don't have that glare. So you're going to have to play with it. Because with these glasses, I do have the glare, so I have a problem. And I would probably try to figure out a way to get rid of that glare because it makes it look weird. Yeah. But thank you for bringing it up. I meant to show this earlier. That's why the prop was sitting there.
Great. So I just want to let everybody know that if you need to talk to somebody, you know, do a trial run, a test run on this, we do have coaches that offer about 10-15 minute sessions, just like if you were at a regular event for us. And so we can hook you up with somebody to do some interview questions, make sure that they can evaluate what you look like and if everything is prepared and you feel ready. So we'll talk about that at the end of the program, how you contact those coaches. There's a short form on our website, but we'd be happy to do that. Gloria, we're out of time. Thank you so much. This was great information just in time for what we're dealing with right now. So thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you for challenging me.
Jazz hands! Thank you. You are awesome. All right. So we are going to move on now to our friend Kent. Kent, thank you for being here today. He has been with Hacienda Healthcare for almost 4 years. He helps lead the effort to attract and retain top talent for the company to care for their clients. Previously, Kent oversaw all HR responsibilities as the HR manager for SoilWorks, and prior to that, he spent almost 3 decades in HR for State Farm Insurance. He holds a Bachelor of Science degree in Industrial Management from Illinois State University. And Kent, we are thrilled to have you here today. Welcome.
Thank you very much. I wanted to let you know that my pictures are straight. I'm wearing a swimsuit bottom and I have blush on. So.
I love to say professional on the top, party on the bottom, right?
That's correct. Well, good morning. Thank you for attending this Zoom. I look forward to giving you a little information about Hacienda Healthcare and then the positions that we have available. Just a little bit about Hacienda Healthcare. We are a long-term care facility for special needs. They are critically ill and very fragile clients. Right now with COVID-19, we get our temperature checked twice a day. We are wearing masks. We've got gowns, etc. I'm in human resources. I'm not allowed near our clients. We have a lot of our non-direct care folks working from home. We were founded in 1967 by a single lady that moved here from Illinois, Eileen Butler, and she was working out of a mobile home. As you can imagine, by 1970, she had 19 children and 10 employees working out of a mobile home. How many people want to do that? Not me. and especially in the heat that we have here in Phoenix. So in 1976, 1402 East South Mountain Avenue, that is where our main facility is. That property and facility was donated to us by a church. And then in 2006, our name changed to Hacienda Healthcare. Now the good stuff. So we have been in the community for over 50 years. Right now we have intermediate care facility that houses probably close to 30 clients. We have 8 group homes located throughout the valley. Also, we have a day program. A lot of times we'll transport our group home clients into a day program. We bring in singers, dancers, they have karaoke. I seem to always have laryngitis when it's karaoke day. I don't know why. And then we do home health for our clients, and we put LPNs and RNs in people's homes. Right now, we are hiring, as probably everyone, RNs, LPNs. I've got at least 3 LPN full-time positions available in our group homes. We're hiring CNAs and caregivers. I probably have about 15 full-time caregiver openings. You're saying, oh my gosh, I'm not certified. You do not have to be certified. We just require that you know what you're getting yourself into. You're going to be feeding, changing, bathing our clients. If you can do that, then you can handle our clients. I, for one, could not be a caregiver. That's why I'm in HR, and I'll stay in HR. Also, we require first aid and CPR, and you say, oh my gosh, I don't have first aid or CPR. Don't worry, we provide that on site for our folks. Also, about the only thing all these positions have in common is they are safety sensitive. So you're going to go through a drug screen, and you need to have a fingerprint clearance card. If you do not have one, we can help you get one. We also have a senior accountant position available. It's been very hard to fill. We are looking for someone that has a CPA. Also, I've got leadership or management positions for our group homes, and also LPNs that could handle or lead our medical group homes as a manager. And then our home health, we have a nurse case manager positions. Plus, you know, all these positions, we've got full-time, we've got part-time positions. Check us out, definitely. Benefits that we offer: medical, dental, vision. Our medical and dental, just so you know, is with Cigna. But we also offer company paid life, supplemental life. We do have subsidized bus passes. So if you don't have a car, gosh, how am I going to get to work? We can help you there. And then we've got a 403B company match available. That is like a 401k because we're a nonprofit. We have a 403B. And then 6 paid holidays. How to apply? You can go to our website, haciendainc.org, view the jobs, click on the job that you're interested in, fill out the application. And what is nice about our system, your application goes directly to the hiring manager. A computer will not knock you out. I will not knock you out. It goes directly to the hiring manager so that they can view your application. My contact information, please feel free to give me a call. You can send me an email. You can call me. That is my direct line, extension 173 at Hacienda. Any questions?
Let's see. Thank you, Kent. I am looking. I don't see any questions yet for you. But if you do have any questions for Kent, he's going to be on the line. And Kent, can you open up you're in the chat, right? And,
Correct.
Yeah.
Yes.
So he is going to stay on the line for a few minutes here. So feel free to drop him a line in the chat and he will answer it. We also have the link to the job board and the Kent's information in the chat as well. So thank you so much for being here. We really appreciate your time, Kent.
Thank you. And we have plenty of jobs. Thank you.
Plenty of jobs. They are ready. Okay. Jamie Fox is next with us. Jamie is not able to access her video today. So you're going to see her picture, and I think it's her picture, and her beautiful voice, but she will be talking to you. She works with Schwab's talent acquisition team as a sourcing advisor. And as a sourcing advisor, she partners with the talent advisors to supplement the active talent pool with passive talent for open recs. She reaches out to passive candidates, provides labor market data and competitive intelligence, and leverages different talent attraction strategies to increase the applicant flow. And so they are always looking for a diverse candidate base to choose from. She's been with Schwab for about 2 years and is based out of their Denver location. So please help me welcome Jamie Fox.
Thanks so much. Can you all hear me okay?
We got you, yes.
Perfect. Well, I will jump in with an overview on Schwab and then also give kind of an overview on some of our open positions and how to explore our nationwide open positions as well. So we can move on to the first slide here. So who we serve at Schwab, we serve individual investors, advisors, and employers. So individual investors with Schwab are driven, motivated people who believe that personal engagement, a sense of ownership, and a commitment to investing gives them control over their financial futures. We have more than 365 branches, which is where the individual investors can engage with us, approximately 1,200 financial consultants, over 300 billion enrolled in advisory solutions, and 100,000 plus financial plans provided to date. As far as our advisors go, independent registered investment advisors believe, like Schwab, that there's a better way to serve investors. We're the #1 in market share for registered investment advisor custody. We have 7,500 advisors served with 1.75 trillion in client assets and 1,800 professionals dedicated to custody, trading, and operations support. And then our employers, and the companies that serve them, and they understand the long-term bottom line value of helping employees toward achieving a secure retirement and optimizing other financial benefits. So we have over 4 million retirement plan participants served directly and through independent record keepers, over 2,300 company stock and brokerage plans, and we are the leading retirement plan service provider with more than $150 billion in assets. And you can learn more about what we do at aboutschwab.com/what we do. We can move on to Schwab organizations. So this is a representation of the Schwab organization. It's certainly not all-inclusive, nor is this an org chart, but definitely encourage you to learn more about our organization by visiting our website. Something intentional here about how this is organized is that clients are listed first. So our strategy, and you'll see this all over our website, is to see through the client's eyes. So everything we do is with a laser focus on them first. The main takeaway is to know that we are all connected to our external clients and investors in some way, and that we all have clients in our roles, whether they're internal or external. So while many of us don't directly interact with external clients, we support the work being done for those clients in multiple ways, and that's sort of at the core of what we all do. And if your clients are internal, seeing through their eyes and putting clients first, no matter what, is still a winning strategy at Schwab. And we'll move on to Schwab Corporation at a glance. So we're headquartered in San Francisco on Main Street. With our purpose and values as our North Star, we've grown from a small discount brokerage to a leading investment services firm with more total assets than any publicly traded investment services firm in the U.S. And again, the #1 custodian for independent advisors and a leader in asset management and retirement planning. As far as, our workplace culture, every workplace has its own culture. Schwab earns this recognition because we've created something special, and I think that's what we're well known for. So here are some of our awards that we've won for top rated workplace and so forth that you can check out. A little bit more on our culture. We empower our employees to build meaningful careers with purpose. We challenge our employees to stretch and grow their skills with opportunities and programs to grow both personally and professionally. So we invest in the well-being of our employees and their families and the communities in which we live and work, because when our people are at their best, so are we. And a little bit more about how we do that here is in the next slide, employee resource groups, or ERGs. So we're proud to have 11 different ERGs with more than 90 chapters across the company. Nearly 35% of our employees are members of one or more than one ERG. Schwab's ERGs are employee-driven organizations that support leadership development, community involvement, and a connection to our diverse clients. Allies are welcome, and we invite anyone to join an ERG. So why Schwab? At Schwab, you'll be a part of an inclusive and innovative environment that fosters integrity, diversity, collaboration, and community involvement. It invests in its people. You can participate in mentorship groups, our programs expect consistent feedback, and will be surrounded by leaders that support and care for your individual career growth. And all of this is definitely something that I personally enjoyed at Schwab as well. And Schwab's committed to helping manage you and your family's physical, mental, and financial health by providing health plans, advice, and resources. Additionally, we offer a variety of roles and schedules to choose from, so there's a lot of flexibility within our 7 corporate service centers. So along those lines, with regards to benefits, for more than 40 years, we've been building a business designed to help people take control of their financial futures. So the same applies to our people. That's why we invest in our employees and their futures, providing them with a valuable benefits package that not only helps them stay healthy, but also gives them complimentary financial advice. And our full benefits package is available online as well. So some specific career opportunities to consider in the next slide here. And this is certainly not comprehensive to what is all currently available, and I'll go into how you can explore all of the open options right now. But here's just kind of a sampling in some of our different areas. We have our client service and support space, and here are a couple roles within that space that are great for entry level if you're looking for getting your foot in the door in the financial services industry, that you don't necessarily have previous experience or you don't have the FINRA licenses that are often required. So the Associate Financial Services Professional role is an awesome way to get started in the industry and get your FINRA Series 7 and 63 and become a licensed broker. And that's something that Schwab sponsors and pays for as a part of your development within that role. The Client Banking Services Professional is also client service and support, but does not require licensing. So that's another option to pursue if you're looking to work directly with clients and share your customer and client service experience, maybe from a different industry, but move into financial services. The branch network is also a great way to work directly with clients in a face-to-face manner. The client relationship specialist is another great entry point into the branch. Our VP financial consultant roles do require a bit more experience working as a financial advisor, but we have many opportunities to kind of grow into that career path as well. Schwab Technology Services, we have both senior and staff level roles, a lot of developer openings nationwide, .NET developers, Java developers, DevOps engineers, a lot of different areas looking for additions to their staff nationwide. And these are all nationwide across our service centers. In the branch network, we have branches all over the nation, so not just in our service centers. Corporate functions, we're specifically looking for a senior manager in growth marketing. If you have marketing experience with management and people leadership. Compliance is looking for a senior specialist. An internal audit, bank enterprise is looking for a senior auditor. So those are just a few opportunities to consider. If you are ready to start your Schwab story, you can move on to the next slide. You can learn more at our careers page, which is listed here, and apply at schwabjobs.com. And you can filter by location and also line of business, which ones you're interested in, and also join our talent network, where you can be notified about specific opportunities that align with your background. And also feel free to follow us on LinkedIn, Twitter, our Instagram, or our careers Facebook as well. So that is all I have. Thank you so much for the time. I really appreciate it and look forward to connecting with you all on LinkedIn.
Thank you so much, Jamie. We do have some individual questions for you in the chat. So if you could jump over into the chat and answer some of those.
Sure thing.
One I think that would relate to a lot of people though is, does Schwab require the Series 7, 63, or 65 licenses for your positions?
So as I mentioned, a lot of the positions do require that, but we do have great entry-level roles that don't require it right off the bat. So like the Associate Financial Service Professional role, you come into Schwab unlicensed, or you can come into Schwab unlicensed and get those licenses as a condition of employment. So it will be within a certain time frame that you are able to get those licenses, but Schwab pays for the licensing. We also provide study material and training for those licenses. So there's awesome opportunities to become licensed. A lot of the higher level positions, I will say, do require the licensing.
Okay, awesome. Again, thank you so much for being here today. We really appreciate you, Jamie.
Absolutely, thank you.
All right, we are going to move over to Stacy Peterson. Stacy is an HR generalist at TGen, Translation Genomics Research Institute. For over 6 years, she helped the organization find and maintain employees with the best attitude and experience while working to solidify those relationships within the organization. And having focused the biggest percentage of her time in recruitment at TGen and holding multiple classes a year on job searching, resume building, and interviewing, Stacy knows what goes into finding and holding on to the best candidates. After serving 5 years in the Navy and traveling the world, Stacy finished a Bachelor of Science degree in Business Administration. Welcome, Stacy.
Hi, thank you, Jessica. I appreciate it. My name's Stacy Peterson. Peterson SEN, same as Gloria. We decided that we must be distant relatives. We are, however, not related in any way that we know. But I'd like to get started. I think I've got the, I am from TGen, Translational Genomics Research Institute. We were founded in 2002. The concept originated with Dr. Jeffrey Trent. He was part of the first team that sequenced the first genome back east. They decided they wanted to take more of that biotechnology to the Southwest. We ended up picking Arizona for 2 reasons. One, Dr. Trent was from here. He ended up graduating from high school in the Valley. And then also Arizona offered us some money. Our main focus for TGen is what we call bench to bedside. What that means is the research, getting to patients as quickly as possible has always been a little bit of a problem in the past. So that's where organizations like ours come in. We want to get that research and as quickly as possible, get it to where it can affect and help patients as quickly as possible. We also call this precision medicine. It's when you end up getting either like a diagnosis or a treatment based on your genomic makeup, your DNA, RNA, proteins. In 2016, we became an affiliate of City of Hope. They are a lot like us. They are based out of Duarte, California. They are umpteen times larger than we are, but it's been a really great partnership because they're really renowned for their clinics. And again, that's where our research comes in, where we want to be able to get that research into a clinical setting as quickly as possible. So what exactly does TGen do? We focus on research, and we look at anything from neurological diseases and disorders to cancers to metabolic diseases to pathogens, infectious diseases. Pretty much we study anything that can basically affect the body. And what we want to do is we're looking for not only diagnosing, but treatment. And we, again, as I've said, take that and put it as quickly into a clinic settings. Here on site, we actually do not see patients. We do collaborate both nationally and internationally with our research and our clinical studies. It's really fascinating. And the good thing is we are a private institute, so we are not beholden to anybody but ourselves and, of course, funding. So our researchers, they were able to kind of go in all these different directions, and they often do it together. So it's a really fun, fascinating subject once you get into it. One of the fun things we're doing is we also jump in where's needed. So we do have that pathogen infectious diseases part. We have our location up in Flagstaff. If any of you guys are from Arizona, you probably have heard of us for our COVID-19 testing. So when that started developing, our researchers said, you know what, we can come up with a test too. So they did, they got it pushed through the FDA. We began testing, I wanna say in March. Been very fun up there. It's been crazy. We became a HIPAA entity up there, a lot of training, good hiring up there. But right now they're doing testing as well as research. So we're already starting some clinical trials because we wanna see how this changes a person's DNA and things like that, and start looking at antibodies and then tracking things like that. I could go on and on about the COVID-19 testing. So it's been a lot of fun. I want to talk about Ashion also. So TGen is a 501c nonprofit. However, when we do find things that can make us money, we have to spin them out. Ashion is one of our spin outs. It's still a subsidiary of TGen and is still housed in our building here. It did start out as our CLIA lab, and it spun out into its own entity in 2014. One day we hope in the future, a few years from now, it will completely spin out completely on its own and no longer be under TGen. But for right now, it is still housed under us. What they do is they developed a clinical genomic sequencing and analyzing technology for personalized cancer treatments. So they look at all different types of tumors for cancer. And what they'll do is they will run the genomic sequencing on it. Their main test is the Gem Extra. It runs the entire full genome. And what they'll do is they'll spit out a report. It'll talk about this is the cancer, this is the type, this is how it affects the individual, and here are some maybe therapeutic drugs that you can, or therapeutic clinical trials that are out there that maybe you can do instead of chemo or after chemo or things like that. It's about a 14-day turnaround, really fascinating how much they've helped people get beyond their cancer treatment. Let's talk about some positions. So of course we have a lot of scientific positions. We have what we call postdoc fellows. If you just graduated with your PhD degree and you have a biology background, all the different types, and you're not quite sure what you want to do, but you know you want to go into a specific type of disease or disorder, we do have fellowships. We have 3 available right now. We also have what we call the science IT. We call them bioinformatics. So when we do our research, so much data comes out of it. It's really fascinating. The types of computers and massive computer hardwares that we have is phenomenal, but we're talking tons and tons of data, because if you look at your genome, that's just a massive amount of data. So we need people who can harness that data, filter it out, and then give it back to our scientists. This is many different things that we're looking for in IT. We do like that if you have a biology background. However, sometimes you're strictly a technology person, because sometimes we're looking at developing, writing, pushing down the streamline, things like that. So we do have a couple of bioinformatics positions. Our associate bioinformatician is more of an entry level. And then of course we have administrative side of the house. So we do have a research compliant QA specialist available. I did not put that up there, but that will be for Flagstaff. We are looking, because of the COVID-19, we had to build up that CLIA lab there. We do need somebody that helps with that compliance and QA up there. We also have an executive assistant position open in Flagstaff. Very exciting. They will be taking care of our director up there that runs Flagstaff up there, as well as some of the other operations. And then of course our principal investigators, there's a couple of things up there. So they're a close-knit team up there. It's a lot of fun. And then of course we have an administrative, also director of development in our foundation. We do have a philanthropy set. The foundation is on site here in Phoenix, but we do have a director of development. And then of course an HPC engineer we have open as well. I think both entry and senior position. For a Cheyenne, we have so many IT positions open, and the reason being is we are developing a good way for the doctors to be able to get the information sent to us and get the information back. So there's these portals and things like that. So we have quite a few IT positions open. Also, I meant to say in TGen, we also have a project manager. It hasn't been posted yet, but we do have a project manager that is opening up as well. So we have a lot of IT positions actually open. This is how you can reach us. So if you go to both to apply, excuse me, for TGen and a Cheyenne, if you go to our career page, it will take you to both the Cheyenne's and TGen's positions. So you can go there. Very easy to apply. And if you have any problems, you can always reach out to me via email. That's my email. Rachel Youngworth is the Cheyenne version of me. So, but she and I know each other's positions to be able to back each other up. So if you ever have any issues, you can just email me, but you can also email Rachel Youngworth. To learn more about TGen, if you just even if you're fascinated on the subject, there's such good information about TGen on our website. We have a lot of videos and things like that. So about our faculty members and what they're studying, and it's really quite fascinating. Same with the Cheyenne. If you go to a Cheyenne, you can learn a little more about what they do and how that works. And so I thank you for your time.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Stacy Peterson with an E. I haven't seen any questions coming through yet, but do you mind staying on for a few minutes? Okay, great. So if you have questions for Stacy, she's going to be here. We still have Kent and Jamie here as well. So if you need to chat with them, feel free to do that in the chat room. All right. Also, just as an added bonus, you guys, we are at the very end, after we end the virtual meeting today, we are going to stay on the line, and anyone who has questions about setting up Zoom, the virtual backgrounds, the settings, those questions, our resident expert, Julia Turan, is going to walk you through how to do that. So that'll be at the very end. I'll tell you when that happens in about 5-7 minutes or so after I wrap it up here. So wanted to first say, thank you all for being here. We're going to go through just a couple things. If you have not dropped your LinkedIn URL in the chat box, do that. I am connecting with people like crazy today. It's been awesome. The other thing we would like to know is, how did you hear about us? Have you attended an event in the past? Did you see it on Facebook? How did you hear about Career Connectors? Did you get a referral from a friend from Best Companies AZ? We would really like to know how you heard about us, because we want to make sure we're reaching out as best we can and we're utilizing our network as best we can to let people know about these events. So if you don't mind dropping that in the chat, that would be wonderful. All right. We also have a partnership with Brighton College, and as part of that partnership, we have a whole bunch of different trainings that are available. You can see them at cca.training. Some are funded through grant funding, and some are there's a payment involved, but they're all online and they're very low cost, affordable. If you are looking for something different, then this is to get trained up, this is something that you may want to consider. So cca.training is our website. Okay. Now you're going to be seeing here in the next few minutes some evaluations pop up. Questions, it's a poll. If you can just take a second and click on your response, it just popped up. This webinar registration was easy. Once you answer the poll, it goes away. So if we're going to have, I think, 4 questions. So if you could just answer that, that would be fantastic. We'd really appreciate it. Thank you so much to our partners that make this happen. You can see these are the organizations that are financially partnering with us to make sure we have the resources to support all of you. So we're incredibly grateful to all of them. Also, I need to go back here. Sheila, I think I can't see my arrows. Will you take me back to the Best Companies AZ slide? Thank you. So one of the things we have done is we have partnered with Best Companies AZ, and in that we have put together some resources for you. And on those resources, we verified over 200 companies that are hiring right now. And you can take a look. The top 65 are ones that we have personally talked to, and you will see that their logo and then a link to their jobs are there. And then those are 65 that we have personal relationships. The one on the bottom half is our partnership with Arizona at Work. And so they are verified as well, but the top 65 are ones we know about. So if you have any questions about those, feel free to reach out to us as well. All right. So I think, Sheila, I'm gonna have you take the PowerPoint back because it's not liking me today. Also, we have some resources for you. If you have not taken our DISC assessment yet, please do so. You can go to careerconnectors.org/DISC. It will tell you your some of your strong communication skills. It will tell you about your ideal work environment. We also are doing a blog today. So a recap of all the content from Gloria will be written out on our recap blog, and that usually takes about 2 days to get up. And then you can see, if you ever did get a photo taken with us, those are still out there, so feel free to grab those down. When we launch our live events again, we're hoping for July, but when we launch our live events again, we will have a professional photographer there to take your business portrait if you are in the Phoenix area. There are social media platforms. We are doing a lot on social media right now to try and get content out and available to you guys. All right, so we have a really great opportunity. We have no cost consultations for you. If you need somebody to review your LinkedIn profile and give you feedback, if you need your resume looked at and make sure that it looks good, it's formatted well, you need some feedback on it, we have professional certified coaches for you from the Resume Writers Council of Arizona. Career coaching, finance coaching, if you have mock interviews, all of those things are available with our coaching program. There's no cost. You just go to careerconnectors.org and fill out /coaching, and you can fill that out, and we will help you get connected with a coach that can help you out today. All right. Now, our up and coming events. We are doing these every Wednesday morning starting at 9 a.m. Next week, I'm so excited, May 27th, you are going to hear from Bridget McGowan. She's phenomenal. She comes out about once a year to our live events, and she is coming back for our virtual event. So how to show up and show out when you want to shut down. We have actually 2 companies booked. We just booked one yesterday. I can't remember the name, but Clairvont, I got to find out how to say that name, is coming, as well as one other one. You'll see it in your email this week if you have registered. And then we have Brenda Cunningham doing the topic, Tackling the Job Search Obstacle Course, Age, Race, and Gender. So we gave her the easiest topic of the year. Just kidding. This is a tough one, but we've seen her do it, and it's phenomenal. So we often hear, you know, age discrimination, various kinds of discrimination, and she is going to tackle it all. So we're excited to have her here. And then watch your email for the June 10th event and then the companies that we are booking. The email comes out every Monday morning. And so you will see if you registered for an event, this event today, you will get it automatically. If you did not register but found the link somewhere, go to careerconnectors.org and hit subscribe to our e-updates. That will make sure that you're getting our weekly email on Monday mornings. All right. So tomorrow at 10 a.m., we are going live. I am doing a panel. I'm moderating a panel with 3 LinkedIn experts. Nicole Langston, who has utilized LinkedIn in various forms. She's a project manager, and so she has landed many different opportunities through LinkedIn. We have Ted Robeson, who is Mr. Link Me In on LinkedIn, and he is a coach, and he has been for many years. He utilizes LinkedIn for many things. And Latasha Kazi is the talent acquisition director for U-Haul, and has utilized LinkedIn from a hiring standpoint. So we're trying to hit it up on all three: the job seeker side, the super user side for a career coach, and then the talent acquisition side. So that will be live on Facebook. And we will, after we go live on Facebook, we will then post it out to LinkedIn, our website, and we'll have it all over the place. So even if somebody asks you, is Facebook required? It is not required. To see it live, it's required, but it will be reposted. And so we will have that up for you guys. I'm so excited about that one. And here is where we post that stuff. So any of the interviews that I do with our community is on our homepage. You can see CC Community Update. It's that middle box. That is where we post these interviews. And so on last Friday, it was the City of Phoenix, Chris Mackey, the City of Phoenix Economic Development Director. We have Jim Sorensen, the DES Director. We've had Goodwill. We have a whole bunch in there. So we did one last week or the week before with the Resume Writers Council of Arizona. So I have 3 resume writers that are answering resume questions. That's a great one. All of those are posted in that community update page. We're also doing all of our webinars, which today was what we would consider a webinar, are posted under the CC Webinars tab. So you can see every week the event that we've hosted. There's probably 10 there now, 8 to 10. You can see each of the events that we've had in the content there. And then the career chat with me, I am doing 3 to 5 minute videos 3 or 4 times a week, and with content, with updates about the hiring environment, updates about unemployment, job tips that are current. So those are in the career chats. And so those are 3 different ways that we're trying to get content out to everybody right now. All right. So thank you to all of our support, our wonderful volunteers. I don't know if you guys know this, but we have about 125 behind the scenes volunteers to make this program happen. And so today, Kitty is writing our event recap, and it's so hysterical to me that I'm looking at this and we spelled your name wrong, Kitty, and you're a writer. So I'm super sorry about that. But thank you, Kitty. We love you. We so appreciate everything you do. Julia, I've mentioned her before. She is the one that's going to stay on this call right after I close it out here. She's going to stay on the call. She's going to show you how to change your Zoom background, how to update your settings in the virtual environment. The Resume Writers Council of Arizona, all of our virtual coaches, there are so many that help us out with making this program happen in a virtual environment. All right, let me just do a double check real quick to make sure I said everything I needed to say. Again, if you could tell us where you heard about us, if you haven't put that in there yet, please do that. And if you have any recommendations for companies that you're interested in working for that we can reach out to that are hiring, let us know. We will do our best to reach out to them. We've worked with over 750 companies in the Phoenix market, and now we're starting to reach outside of the Phoenix market because so many people are just coming in from all over the country. So feel free to drop those in there. I just want all of you to know, first of all, to hang in there. I know some of you are going through a really tough time right now. I'm certainly not in your shoes, but I have felt a version of that, especially when we went through career transition in the last recession 10, 11 years ago. And it was very difficult for us, but there's hope on the other side. And so just keep doing what you're doing. Get out as much as you can in a safe way. Network with people through Zoom, video, phone calls, but people are there to help you and they want to help you. And so whatever we can do to support you in this career transition, we are here. We are praying for you guys. We love you. We are praying that you will land into the career of your dreams. Thank you for being here today. And now, Julia, yes. Did you have a question, Stacy? Okay, bye. And now we're going to move over